evening, everybody. Welcome to our meeting on the February the 10th, 2026. Do we have a quorum?
We do, Chairman.
I see we do have a quorum. Being that we have a quorum, we will get started. Invocation. Dr. Johnson, will you do the honors?
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this opportunity you have given each and every one of us to live and to move and to have our being. We thank you, Lord God, for this day. We thank you for the blessing that have been bestowed upon us this day. We thank you for these council members. We thank you for our citizens. We thank you for the leadership of Marlboro County. Lead, guide, and direct our hearts and our minds, Lord, as we continue to work on behalf of each and every citizen of Marlboro County. We ask a special prayer upon the Clyburn family, Lord God. Strengthen them in that time of need, and all those who are going through bereavement. We ask a special blessing upon them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Approval of agenda items and admission or additions. Hearing none, can I get a motion?
So moved, Chairman.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor of approval of agenda items, show of hands. It is unanimous. Approval of minutes, January the 13th, 2026, a regular meeting, and omission, addition. Hearing none. Might I get a motion?
Motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor? It is unanimous. On January 21st, 2026, the call meeting. Any omission, addition? Hearing none, may I get a motion?
Motion.
Second. Motion has been made and second. All in favor? Unanimous. Okay. On this next item is election of officers. We have a position of chairman available. Okay, the floor is now open for nomination for the chairman of the county council.
Mr. Chair, I nominate Dr. Damon Johnson for.
Okay. Is there anybody else? Hearing no more motions, it is now closed. All in favor of Dr. Chairman, Dr. Johnson being the chairman, show of hands, please. Okay, those opposed?
Abstain.
Got one abstain. It is my privilege to change seats with Dr. Damon Johnson. He's the new chairman of the Marlboro County Council. Dr. Chair, Dr. Johnson. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Get my water, you don't mind?
Thank you. Moving forward with our agenda as written, we will now have presentations. Any representative from our delegation? No representative from our delegation. We will now have the Waste Connections PowerPoint presentation. Steve.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, council members. You have before you a presentation. I'm going to cover the presentation that was done in terms of the solid waste award, and let's see, let's start with a slideshow here. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, let me just go through each one of these slides. You can see this is kind of a recap of our previous meeting. Marlboro County requested proposals from qualified contractors for residential solid waste and disposal services for the period beginning July 1, 26 through June 30th of 2031. It's a 5-year contract was advertised on Skibo and on the county website. The RFP required the contractor provide a single 95-gallon rollout cart for each residential unit in the unincorporated areas. A contractor to provide 6,800 rollout carts to serve the county apartment complexes, campgrounds, and other multifamily campuses that utilize dumpster services are excluded. The county continues to bill for rollout cart service through residential property tax. And we went through the request for proposal. There's a criteria for that evaluation, costs making up 60% of the rating, and then the technical and the qualitative portion made up 40%. Based on that evaluation of the two proposals that the county received, the committee rated Waste Connections the highest at 89.9 and Meridian Waste at 80.29. Take a look at where we are presently. Current rate, $17.71 per month, or $212.52 annually. That's what we're paying for regular properties. And for homestead properties, we're paying $167.28. County bills, $235 for regular and $185 for homestead properties. And of course, we have significant cost in running the three convenience centers. We've got service contract. We've also got some staff as well that we pay out of the solid waste fund. And we take a look at the proposed, the waste connections. You can see, and I'm going to go to the next slide and just look at what that comparison. This is a 5-year fix. We look at the 1 year is this, and then if we take a look at actually them, kind of side by side, you can see that obviously it's considerably less expensive, utilizing Waste Connections. Obviously, there is an advantage with looking at a fixed versus annual CPI adjustment, and then that, when you're paying a fixed rate, you know that your contract cost is going to be set for 5 years, and then, of course, if you're doing annual CPI adjustments, then that cost is going to fluctuate with inflation. So I'm going to go right into the next PowerPoint, which really has to do with, it's a little bit difficult for me to kind of see the icon there. Okay, yeah. Let's see, I think that's, okay. Yeah, we're going to look at the actual contract and operational highlights. And let me just go to the slideshow here. Okay, and as you can see, the last regularly scheduled meeting on January 13th, the council received information on the proposals and the recommendation. The council approved the award of 2 Waste Connections with instruction for staff to negotiate a contract. Following slides provide information included in the RFP that will be relevant to the proposed contract. We did a recap of some of the internal information. Obviously, we've got operational hours. We have improved communication and access to company staff. Operational hours from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We've got information on the district manager cell phone contact, site manager and operations manager cell phone contact, We've got assurance of 24-hour maximum response time, and we have other information that the company has made available to us. And we look at the actual staff, and we see that we've got, a very experienced staff with, anywhere from 6 to 35 years of experience in the field. Improved equipment, technology, and response time, modern automated side loaders. The trucks have GPS-enabled route software and cameras. The service contracts, service units are set up to address spills and personal protective equipment and scanners, call center with answering calls within 60 seconds, and then, of course, response time in terms of mixed pickups, 24 hours on 85% of those calls. Looking at the transition, this is really important because when we talk about trying to move from one service to another, obviously with Waste Connection being our current service provider, the transition process will be very easy for the county. They've already established 3 to 4 routes, 3 to 4 routes a day with 400 to 700 lifts per day. The existing equipment are trucks that are side loaders. The rollout carts are already at the residential sites. As a part of the contract, Waste Connections is required to provide another 100 additional rollout carts. The existing collection staff is already in place, 3 to 4 drivers daily, and they do have a swing and helper as needed. There is an existing call center operation call center that's operational.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you go back to that slide?
Back.
Can you let the council know the differences and some of that
Yeah.
that we're getting from what we had this past time?
That's a great point. I think one of the things that we've seen is we definitely have seen a lot more communication. We've also seen, better actual equipment. I think at the beginning of the contract, we did not have a lot of the GPS-enabled route software that was in place. The camera issues are something that's been recently added. So I really believe that the whole communication piece is certainly much better at this point in time. And I know, Chad, you might want to kind of acknowledge that as well.
Mr. Chair and members, every single cart starting recently, there's a camera with a GPS-enabled location with the address associated. So every time that cart gets flipped, it is videoed and logged into the system. So when a phone call comes into the communication center and I'm Joe Snuffy at 123 Maple Street and you didn't pick up my trash, they are logging in. They're able to see and actually get a video and say, we actually were there on Monday at 3 p.m. and here's a video we can send to your cell phone. So that's something recent that has been added to this system with Waste Connections.
Thank you. Also, with the customer service, emails and text alerts via route software for severe weather, equipment failure, schedule change, call answering and resolution of missed pickups. The resident information is a part of new residents coming in. There's a welcome mailer schedule with holidays and set out guidelines, working with, of course, social media, website, and frequently asked questions. Improve call center information reporting, weekly, monthly call center summaries on call volumes, types, resolutions, and geographic distribution. So if there are problems with routes, they're able to determine exactly where that is and identify that. Real-time dashboards, so Waste Connection has insight into escalation and rate and route impacts, complaint logs and documentation, GPS telematics for vehicle to track route progress, onboard cameras to verify service at each stop, monthly summaries on accounts. And of course, they bill based on regular or homestead service. And then, of course, tonnage by materials, complaint metrics, and corrective actions. We look at the actual cost. We're looking at the 5-year fixed for regular properties, $244.44, and the homestead properties at $192.36 annually. We go to the 1-year fixed with annual CPI adjustment. It ends up being $218.88 annually for regular and $172.32 for homestead. And obviously the advantage of the 5-year is it's fixed for the term of the contract, and with the annual, it's subject to the rate of inflation. So we look at the calculation. They factored in about a 4.5% rate of inflation, the contract. So that's really all I have. I know we had just received a contract, but we couldn't really, we didn't have time to meet with the committee in terms of reviewing that, and I think we'll have some communication back and forth in terms of what we've received, and we'll bring that to next month's meeting.
I have a couple things. I guess is the last few times, I think Christmas, New Year's, with the ice and the snow, we had a lot of trouble with the snow in the last amount of time with the Wallace area. We're always the last on Friday pickup, and so communication with Mr. Cherris and talk with Waste Connections, but the way the contract rates is they've missed 2 consecutive days, they start the route over again. So on Fridays, if something happens and they can't go Monday, can't go Saturday or Monday, they automatically start back over, and they start back over on the other end of the county. He said that's the way the contracts are written. So, so who's gonna always have a problem is the ones in the Wallace area. So we have to look at a contract or some way to do something so we're not always left out. I mean, we had 14 days no trash. I mean, trash was everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I called him, and he said, well, the way the contracts wrote, I talked to Sheriff, and with the way and I didn't know it, but he said the way the contract wrote, that's what he does. So we have to look at that, because even the ones that started over on Monday, if they missed 2 extra days, they're only putting them at 8 or 9 days. We had 14 to 15 days. And I mean, it's just steady. Everybody's calling. And you know, you can talk with Waste Connections. They were moving, but there was no way to change it. So we have to figure a way. My trash can was overflowing, and he told me, he said, put bags on the ground. He said, we'll pick them up. But they stand a chance of dogs tearing your trash up. They're not gonna pick up the trash, then who's responsible for it? So there has to be something. If we have to look at it, if we have to put some roll-offs in the convenience centers, to where if they miss it, and we can get rid of the trash, because trash was everywhere in Wallace for this last few times. So we have to address that somehow or another.
Okay. All right. Okay.
To that point, sir, as the chairman of the Public Services Committee, I did send a request to Waste Connections for numbers, what it would cost to have 3 30-yard dumpsters to be placed at one dumpster at each of our convenience centers for household trash for emergency purposes. And he said they would work some numbers in our favor, not charge us even close, and work that so that we can have something in place. So if there's emergencies when it comes to storms or holidays, that's something I'm actually looking to get some numbers and bring to the Public Services Committee at this next meeting, sir.
All right, that'd be great, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
The cost now that would affect, let's say, Homestead, how much is that difference?
Right now, we have a $50 difference between what we charge for regular customers and what we charge for Homestead. And I think as we work through the budget process, I think that's a, important discussion in terms of how much of a differential are we going to have between regular and Homestead.
I'm interested in Homestead. So my question then is, we know that it's a $235 for regular and $185 because we're a senior citizen. The question I have, will there be a major difference with this company's new contract? Is that something we, as a council member, needs to decide?
As a Waste Connection provided a pretty significant difference for Homestead versus Waste Connection. And that,
The difference from this year to next year.
this year to next year, well, it's gonna depend on, our budget process. And obviously, if we're wanting to recover all our costs, I think what we're looking at probably is about a $40 difference in terms of increase in cost for solid waste, based on the numbers that we've looked at right now.
In the first
But
presentation,
Maintaining the same $50 difference.
in the first presentation, you indicated that there will be some community forums or community in town halls. Have anybody worked on those yet?
We have not, and there again, we have not, you haven't executed the contract yet, so I don't know whether or not it would be wise to actually hold those forums prior to, to negotiating the contract, or if you want to, hold the forums first and then negotiate the contract later.
I just want to be sure that with this new, might as well say the new thing that's on the table now, that the community will have input. I know you said 7 years ago you had the community forums, and I know for a fact that it was not well received, or as far as to say it was put in the public. I really want District 4 people to really know what they're getting into.
I think one of the things that we look back 7 years ago, that was prior to actually going to the rollout card system, and I think there was, now that residents have gotten more accustomed to actually having the rollout cards, maybe the response might be a little different.
With the cameras on those carts, and if they get damaged, who will be responsible?
The cameras
for
are
that?
actually on the trucks.
On the truck, okay.
And so that obviously is the responsibility of Waste Connection.
Okay. So it won't actually be on the lid of that
No,
container?
no, it's not on the container
Okay.
itself. Yeah.
Little things like that, because, you don't want to have to pay for a cart because it got slammed and thrown to the
Sure.
side. So when do we anticipate the fact that it's up to us after we make the negotiations for us community meetings and town hall?
I'll let
So,
you-
what we were, and I was gonna mention this in the executive session, we do need to have some sort of time frame on when we're expecting to go ahead and get the contract done, and we have to, schedule our town hall meetings based on that. If we're gonna go ahead and get that done for next month's meeting, then we need to go ahead and get the town hall meetings done. If we wanted to get some more time to really work out the contract, it just depends on that. I mean, it's kind of a fluid situation when it comes to the actual town hall meetings and then the contract itself. So, I mean, I'm looking for guidance from the council on that.
Thank you.
So at this point, you all are still in the process of meeting with Waste Connections and presenting this contract?
We're presenting the issues that you brought up, make sure they understand everything all the concerns that we've had over the past year, and working out some different things that can go in that contract, and then we'll have something presented by, what did they say,
Well, we can bring that back to the next council meeting. We actually have an initial draft, but there's still some issues that need to be negotiated as part of that contract that we received, so.
When is the current contract over with? June?
It's June 30th, right. So we do have a little bit of time, fortunately.
Okay.
And we've gone through, obviously, we've gone through the procurement process, and now it's just a contractual, it's a contract process at this point.
All right, thank you, Mr. Parker.
All right, certainly, thank you.
We have no citizen that signed up to speak before council at this time. Can I get a motion for executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Then moved and properly second that we go into executive session. All in favor, let me see you raise your right hand. Unanimous.
help me is like when you take a motion in a second, if you would say like so-and-so made the motion, so-and-so made the second.
Okay.
That would help me because sometimes we got 2 or 3 people
Make 'em-
doing it.
I'll do
If
that.
you do that, I appreciate it.
I'll do it. Hit it. Can I have any motion to come out of executive session?
So move.
It's been moved by Anthony Woods, second by Jason Steen. Council went into executive session, no actions were taken. All in favor, come out of executive session, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous. New business, ordinance number 879. Mr. Clyburn.
So ordinance number 879, I'll have Mr. McNeil come explain that ordinance.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we talked about this one before. This was Project Cranberry Cousins, another one of our solar projects, 75 megawatts in the Wallace area. So we talked about this one before, so this is just the inducement resolution.
So again, this property this is on private property. It's not anything that Marlboro County, again, would be responsible for cleaning up or anything like that. So it is private property and it's a private entity.
Any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept, on title only, this ordinance.
Can I have a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Councilman Anthony Woods, second by Councilman Jackson. Councilman Blackman, that we accept ordinance number 879. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Those opposed?
I oppose, this would encapsulate my entire church.
I'm just not in favor because I'm not for the solar, so.
I oppose, so I don't know
Opposed?
nobody else.
Any abstain? 4 to 3. 4 to 3.
You opposed. Opposed was Mr. Odom.
Councilman Odom, Councilman Steen, and Councilman Lawson. Motion has been approved by a 4 to 3 vote. No old business to discuss. We're now upon appointments to boards and commissions. Ms. Lawson, you had some thoughts on
Yes,
boards?
I do, Mr. Chair. I would like to bring back to the council again about the PDRTA board position that's still open. I just want, I know you've been out, sir. Have you heard anything
I
concerning?
haven't spoken to them, but I haven't heard anything.
You have,
No.
but that appointment is available for anyone, a community person serves, and then it's also an opportunity for a council member if need be, or it could be another strong community person. I suggest that we do something with that board, make some type of appointment, because I did talk to a member who's serving on that board, Ms. Yolanda Dufresne. They are going to be meeting the 3rd Thursday of each month. They meet in Florence. We do need to stay abreast of what's going on with PDRTA because it's important. I suggest if a member it shows interest in wanting to serve, if not, we need to think about a community person. I did speak to a community person who's very interested. He mentioned that he would be interested he was supposed to be here tonight to show his interest. And that was, so Mr. Chair, I turn it back to you to ask when any of the members, are they interested in that position?
Knowing that we do have an open spot on the PDRTA board, which is a very important board, talking about transportation, do we have any council members that's willing to serve on that board?
Mr. Chairman, I do have an appointment though.
If no council member is willing to serve on PDR2, we will engage our community citizens. There's been a couple that expressed some interest. So on our next council meeting, we will have a name for the PDR2 board to bring before council. Councilman Odom.
Mr. Chairman, McCall has an appointment open for the library board, and I want to appoint Ms. Tammy Wagner to the board. She comes highly recommended. She had I guess about a 35-year career as a public school teacher in Marlboro County, and she has been doing volunteer work with Ms. Bobby Grooms at the library, and I want to appoint her to the library board.
Councilman, could you make that in a motion?
Yes, make a motion that Ms. Tammy Wagner be appointed to the Marlboro County Library Board.
I second.
It's been moved and properly second that we have Ms. Tammy Wagner appointed to the Marlboro County Library Board. Any questions, discussions? All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Unanimous.
Also, Mr. Chair, the PD call has, those of us who are already serving, we are supposed to indicate whether, this council is supposed to indicate we still want to serve on that board. I have been a member now 2 years. I'm interested, Mr. Chair, to continue to serving on that board. But I also would like the opportunity to serve as on the executive committee of that board. This council has the right to appoint who they want to serve in what office on that board.
Councilman Woods is also on the PD card, myself, and Mr. Clyburn is on the PD card board. Do we have any council members who is not currently serving on PD card have any interest in serving on the PD Council of Governments? If not, we would keep the slate of representative as is. Ms. Lawson does have a request to possibly serve on the executive committee of the PD cog. That is the express will of the council. If we will reorganize how we engage the positions on the board. But I do make a motion that Councilwoman Lawson serve.
I'll make a motion that she serves as executive commission.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second that we have Councilwoman Lawson serve as the executive committee person on the PD cog. All other members will remain the same as well. Any further action on boards and appointments?
Vote on it.
Vote on it. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. It is unanimous that Councilwoman Lawson will serve as the executive committee person for the PD Council of Governments. Nothing further, let us move forward. We now have acceptance of bids. None is on the roster. We will move forward with our finance report. Mr. Parks.
You have before you the revenue and expenditures through January 31 of 2026. At the date of the report, the fee in lieu and the general taxes had not been posted. We'll update you on this in the next report so we can do a proper comparison. But looking at general fund expenditures through January 31, 2026, a total of $9,536,392 of a $16,492,894 budget, or 57.82% budget year to date in terms of expenditures. Looking at general fund expenditures for the prior year, that totaled $9,632,913 of a $14,748,543 budget, or 65.31% of budget year to date for that same period last year. In conclusion, the revenue comparison will be provided in next month's report. The expenditures however, are lower in comparison to last year, despite increased budget. All indications are that the county will have a positive operating results for the end of this fiscal year. I don't know if there's any questions in terms of the financial report
I do,
as
sir.
presented.
As for that portion of expenditures and the
Yes.
revenue. You say that we did not get any information as of yet concerning any revenues that has come in.
It was posted in February rather than in January. So the revenues for general taxes and for fee and lieu will be reflected in next month's budget document, so.
So will the
Next month's
treasurer get that information and you'll pass it to us?
Oh, it'll be incorporated into the report that I present to you next month. For whatever reason, they did have some difficulty in posting the general taxes and fee and lieu income for last month.
Okay, question concerning expenditure.
Yes.
We talked about that, you and I got a chance briefly to talk about this in the finance report for the
Right.
few minutes we sat there. Again, with our council budget, evidently that large amount there, would that have anything to do with the portion of the audit?
That does have to do with the portion of the audit, it's $25,000 payment. So half of the audit report cost was paid in January.
And then concerning, I will go on and say the number concerning 04106.
Okay,
Right now, the expenditures there are close to $47,000, and it was high last time.
right, it was. And I think one thing we've seen, it's been a combination of things like subscription to whether it's software associated with antivirus and also on a contractual basis. So I think one thing we've found is that the cost of IT continues to increase.
So with the
Substantially.
balance that account has in it now, and we have 5 more months in this budget process,
Yes.
does it look like this account is going to be in a deficit?
I'm confident that the expenditures will exceed the amount that was budgeted in information technology, and I believe that what we're going to see is we're going to see an increase in that in the upcoming budget. We did actually increase that budget for the current, in the current fiscal year, but we're continuing to see increased costs, particularly in information technology.
Hopefully, Mr. Clyburn,
Yes.
that you can sort of get with technology.
Yes.
Ask them what is the rising cost, or why those fees are so high. But number one is the software that we're using, and realize we got new things here tonight, and I understand secure cyber and spams and all of that. But let us be updated on whether we had to change system, the system that we had just from last year changed, then here it is changing again this year. Are we using outdated software and then every year having to get more?
So what we'll do, clearly before budget time, is give a little better analysis on, okay, some of the costs that we've had over the past couple of years,
Right.
why those costs rising, and some of it may just be due to inflation, and some of it may just be due to some of the software outdating. And you don't want everything outdated at the same time. You'll have something outdated here 1 year, next couple of years something else. So we'll be a steady increase as opposed to just
Right.
a windfall of a bunch of increases at once. So we'll get a better report and analysis on that and how that is increasing steadily.
Okay.
And I know cybersecurity adds a lot of the cost in terms of IT being able to protect our information.
On the expenditure report,
Yes.
just a general analysis on what we're using per month, average of 1.6 mil per month expenditures.
Probably a little less than that. It's maybe a little closer to about 1.2 a month.
Okay.
We look at on a year-to-date basis.
If it's 1.6, and we'll give or take 1.4, we are, by the time our 5 months of this budget, and compare it to what we have of 6.9, does that look like we may be in a deficit again?
I think we're gonna be right on the mark by the time we get to the end of the year. We've been running, when we look at our percentages, on a year-to-date basis, at this point in time, if you divide 7 by 12, it'd be 58.3%. We're at 57.8.
Right, but when we use the real figures that's coming out of these accounts, with the total, I realize you're saying average 12, and that
Right.
some months are higher, some things are higher, I realize that. But if the average is about 1.6, I'm just using the 1.6 for the next 5 months, that's that's $8 million there. And then we're stuck with right at close to 7. So does that not look like we'll be a 1.1 deficit?
I don't see that.
Okay.
I don't
Well,
think we're,
hopefully
I don't
everybody
think we're gonna
stay
be
in
at that
budget.
rate. Now, I'll have to look back in the prior month and see. I'm trying to think whether or not we had more than, do we have just 2 pay periods in January, or did we have 3? We had 3 pay periods, so that's very significant.
Okay.
If you take 24 pay periods for a year versus 26, twice a year we'll have a month where we've got 3 pay periods, and that certainly will put us over the average for that month.
I'm just pointing that out just because.
Certainly.
If it's an average spending of that, no matter what budget it's coming out, if it's an average spending, we're gonna, hopefully that won't happen.
Salary and benefits are the most significant portion of the county's budget, and when you have 3 pay periods in a month, that is going to impact the amount of expenditures that you've got in that month.
I'm finished with that portion if you are, sir. If you have
Okay,
something other
very good.
question about-
I also have included information on our cash our actual project reporting, and then, of course, our cash reporting for each one of the bank accounts. I don't know if there's any questions on that. I'd be glad to discuss those.
It is for me, sir. I'm sorry, but I sort of, we didn't have a
Okay.
chance to go into that.
Sure.
In the fiduciary funds account, the last 2 pages in our book.
Okay.
Last page in our book.
Okay, very good. The fiduciary accounts, I believe. Yeah. Okay.
That recent current real estate
Current real estate.
checking there.
And if you look at that, it's almost $17 million. And that is the reason why, when you looked at the January financial statement, the fee in lieu as well as the real estate taxes were not posted in January. And you can see those are being held in that account to distribute to all the various taxing authorities. So I think that's probably the largest balance I've seen in that account.
I look back 3 years and I've never seen it that high.
Not seen anything and that's the reason why,
So,
when we talked about the whole issue with not posting, the real estate and the fee in lieu, that was the reason why we couldn't have comparability.
so the interest on those accounts that's being accrued on these accounts, how is that?
It depends on where those funds are held. The highest yielding interest that the county receives are in the local government investment pool. And then we do have interest-bearing checking, but the local government investment pool is giving the county the best yield.
Okay.
Okay.
And my last question, because it does have to do with finance, and I may address this with the administrator, so this policy.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
Thank you, Mr. Marks.
Thank you.
I have three things I want to go over real quickly. First of all, delinquent tax sale dates. So, we usually have the delinquent tax sale on the first Monday in November. This year, we're going to roll it to the second Monday in November for two reasons. Number one, because it keeps us from having to have that date of when it has to be redeemed to run it right on the date of the sale. And the second thing is we are going to have elections on that Tuesday, and we want to, instead of having the day before the election, we want to have it afterwards, because the past couple of years when we've had elections and we've had those tax sales, it's been kind of a rough time trying to get ready for both at the same time. So we're going to have that on the November 9th, and we are going to put proper notice. It will go out. That's going to be put out in the newspaper and everything, as we normally do. We do it especially early so people will not be, kind of caught off guard about the date, but it will be going to the second Monday. And I just want to make sure we put that out there right now, and we'll be putting it out there for everyone to make sure they understand that. The second thing, we are going to look at the countywide cleanup, the dates, and thank you, Ms. Councilwoman Lawson. March 21st to 29th were the dates that we're going to be looking at working with the city and doing a countywide cleanup. And we will contribute to that cleanup with the city, as well as have our own drop-offs and trash for trash and tires throughout different parts of the county. And we're also asking for county council members to help coordinate efforts in their districts. And by coordinate, it's nothing but just let us know some focal points in your area that you think would be good, and also some different focal points for pickups, et cetera. If you just let us know those things that you want to make sure get some attention, just let us know, and we're going to coordinate that, and we're going to be coordinating with the city and then with our own people to make sure that cleanup goes well. It'll be a week-long thing, not just one day. People will have a chance to help out all week, and we'll be coordinating how that help will come about. And the last thing, I want to talk about recreation. Baseball registration opened up, and we'll go to March 6th. So I want to make sure everyone understands, up till March 6th, baseball registration, marlborocountysc.myrec.com is where we go to. People go to register, and those who've done it before, they know, go to that site and register, but make sure you do it before March 6th. Also, basketball season ends Thursday. For the first time in a long time, Marlboro County will be hosting playoff games down in Blenheim for the 17U tournament, and that'll be February 28th starting. So, welcome any council member, anybody else want to come out and see the games, but that'll be the whole Eastern District, South Carolina, will be here in Marlboro County at the Blenheim Gym on February 28th for that tournament. Any questions, I'll be happy to entertain from the council.
Is that Prince Recreation or Blenheim Middle School?
No, that'll be, no, I was told Blenheim. I think that's going to be in the middle school. I think it'll be in the middle school, and I'll get some better information on that. And we'll be sending that out to everyone. But yes, we'll be there February 28th. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Clyburn, again, I extend my condolence to you and your family.
Thank you.
But and thank you. You have three things on my topic, and thank you for addressing the cleanup initiative. And I do plan to coordinate some areas in District 4.
Yes.
Have some groups already volunteers what they want to do. District 4 consists of that 1541 bypass, parts of Cottingham Boulevard, all the areas in there with State Street and those that,
Right.
what we call the Firestone area, be focusing on that. But I would like also that we also have your people look at with our entrance signs when we coming into our county.
Yes.
Signs, they need to clean and trim around that. Not only do we want to pick up paper, but we should also look at pruning some of those areas to make them look cleaner, and maybe put some of that mulch stuff out. But cleanup needs to also include some pruning in some of those areas, that the paper, especially before grass cutting season, when that paper get cut in those lawns, it's going to really be a mess. So I'm just asking, some pruning of some of those things will also help, if you can ask your.
Let me respond to that. I I agree 100% about those entry signs. We got them on 15401, on 938, 15401 North. I know we had the one in McCall that was hit, and we're getting that fixed as well. But I think we want to take an opportunity, once we get that fixed, to look at all of the signs, those entry signs, and redo some of the foliage, not just trim it, but actually redo some of that and make it look nice. Because that's where people see when they come into Marlboro County. And I've always thought that those signs could be, improved on a little bit, budgetary concerns. We didn't want to do too much with that, but we do want to go ahead and get that at least trimmed up and get the landscaping done around those signs so they do look better. So I agree with that.
Thank you. And this is a biggie for me because can you give us an update where we are with the aquatic project?
So they've started back. Our main goal this past couple of weeks, especially during the ice and everything, was just to make sure we get the crews back on there. The crews are back there now. They're doing the cleanups. Remember the dead trees were there. They're moving that stuff, and they're moving along now. And I haven't gotten a solid date as far as finishing, but I do know it will be after. It'll be in the next fiscal year, and so. But we still are going to be working with CP&L as far as them helping us with the planning, as far as the operations and the things that we need for operations. And that will come before council before this budget year comes, before the budget talks come up, as far as operation, what we need. But we're going to make sure that we have qualified people there. We're not going to put anybody in danger. It'll be done pretty properly.
My concern is that the engineers and the contractors who will be providing what we call the labor there, putting the building up.
Yes.
I think I know that some of us may know what those plans look like, but I think we need to review those plans ourselves to be sure what we're getting and making sure that cost is still the same.
Okay.
Do you know off the top of your head what that cost supposed to be for us?
I don't know off the top of my head, but
Do you have any idea, sir? Because it's budgeted. Yeah, it's budgeted for $3 million, is that right? We've already used $275,000, right? So, okay, so I noticed in the budget, in the projects, that's already been moved. As a matter of fact, it's $278,000. My question then is, I do want to be sure that we need to maybe meet with, can you set up an opportunity, Mr. Chair? I think we need to know where we stand with that project.
Sure.
About the cost and all of that
There's no problem.
stuff.
We'll get them to come in and.
I want to be clear on that because this is the thing, and I know I'm hammering that in. December 31st, all funds from that ARPA money has to be spent. And my question and my concern is that in 2020, when we did the census, we received those ARPA funds, and I'm just making this point, because of Marlboro County participation. Not as high as we should have been, but 26,000 people, a little over 26,000 people. Based on that, that's how we basically got how states and counties got their monies.
Correct.
Now, this is my real concern. When I look at 26,000 people, based on the funds that's coming here, I think 7 million, right?
No, it was about $5 million.
Then we had the okay.
From the local delegation and combined it with the $5.2 million that we
Okay.
received. And then, of course, we used some of that to address things like premium pay.
Right.
Issues with public safety, with the ambulances and their protection.
Right. And y'all have that documented in here, so I know. Part of it was, so we know that because it was going through COVID and all that stuff. I realize that. But when I look at, and I have to look at this, we spent a great deal for the golf complex portion, did we not? Now,
Yeah.
based on that figure that we spent for the golf complex for recreation, using 26,000 people as far as that, 1%, my question is, 1% would be at least 260 people.
That's correct.
Do 260 people from this county utilize as that golf complex?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
I'm just talking about,
That's easy
just-
number, yes.
I wanna know, 200 and,
At least that, yes.
from this, I'm asking, cause I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm telling you, yes.
So with that, that's a small number, so I say double, so about 2% then, right? I'm not talking about the visitors coming in.
Right.
I'm just using that.
I understand your questioning. Your questioning is, we spend a great deal amount of money on the golf course for a small amount of people to use that.
Right.
And but a lot of people use the banquet hall as well. So we do use the golf course, we use the banquet hall, and it's just one of those things, now that predated me now, so, but that's
And
one
I
of those things
realize
that, yes, we spent a great deal amount of money for that golf complex that this council agreed on, and I think, it's been,
And I looked in
It's
here and I saw the revenue that's supposed to be generated from that monthly.
Right.
I looked at that. My question then is, I'm just zooming in on the golf complex. It's just for golf. We have, most of those golf complex in some of the cities, they offer where youth can be involved, they have training, they offer the fact that they can have those golfers do classes. We're utilizing the banquet hall, but the ideal field there, if you're an expert golfer, you can play, but there's not been an initiative yet to make sure.
there absolutely is an initiative.
Yeah.
It is?
Yes,
The high
there
school-
absolutely
the high school-
is.
The high school do that
We-
every year.
We are,
I'm talking about for training,
Let-
adding something else to
let
that.
me finish. There absolutely is an initiative.
Okay,
We can't start it right now in the wintertime, but we do have some things coming up this golf season that for women who have never played golf and for children who are first tee and those other kind of programs,
okay.
we absolutely have those things on slate for this year for the golf
I
course.
would've
'Cause
known
one of
if I
our,
hadn't asked.
right, well,
Thank
it just isn't time for it to really be announced yet
I'm
because of
just
the winter.
asking.
But we are going to have all of those different things for the kids, and that was something that we've always been kind of big on. We didn't do it last year, but this year we do have quite a few programs for kids who have never played golf. That was the real focus for this coming year. Kids who never played golf before, and then women who just have not been exposed to golf. We're going to get those two demographics in there, but as far as the other demographic, we get a lot of people that come in to that golf course, and you look at a good sunny day, and that thing is filled, and day after day after day. So the golf course gets a lot of traction, gets a lot of use. I would say that it was a pretty decent investment because we do use that golf course the way it has been intended to use, and we're going to use it even more when we get young kids who've never played golf before and women to start, frequenting that golf course.
That was the point I was trying to make. So
Thank you.
for that point, making that
Yes.
clarification, that's the point that I'm trying to make, to get the full use out of that.
Absolutely. And I've had conversations with different members of council.
I had a conversation with you though, so.
I mean, just in passing, we've had the conversation that, the golf course is a beautiful golf course. People really compliment how well that golf course has been maintained, over the past couple of years and improved. And we've always said, look, we need to get more people out there. Let more people see that golf course and learn how to play golf. I'm really big about it. I really think that, people who've never had a chance to go out there and learn the game should be out there. And we should do what we can, so it doesn't cost them a whole lot either. That's another part of it. We don't want it to cost everybody so much. We want them to be able to have opportunities to come out there and play golf. So I'm big on that, and our staff down there has been big on that, and they've been looking at different ways to make sure that does happen.
That's all I have.
Any other questions? Well, before I sit down, I do want to say, I do appreciate, staff, elected officials, members of council, members in the community for your outpour of compassion. And I just want to say that with gratitude, that I do appreciate everyone who reached out. It was a tough time for everyone. And, my father lost his wife of 62 years, a city councilwoman herself, and a guidance director for almost 30 years. And so, so many people, so many kids that she touched all through her life were there. And I just appreciate everyone here, you know, for your condolences. And, you know, once again, thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Clyburn. Recognition of council members, we'll start down on Councilman Odom's end.
Wes, correct me, the golf course, since Ms. Lawson wanted to talk about it, when Ron did the projections on that thing for all of us, weren't we looking at 7, 8 years before it was gonna be?
It was 5 or 6 years. It was about 6 years.
5 to 6 years.
Breaking.
It's gonna be in what, 3.5, 3 to 4 years? It's gonna have the return on the money that we invested in it?
I think we're looking at 3 or 4 years to that breaks even and starts doing returns.
That's what I wanted everybody to know. The thing has returned way quicker than what we projected.
Yes.
And that's all I'm gonna say on that matter. Mr. Clyburn, myself, Jerry Booth, and McCall, we have received a $130,000 donation from the Love Foundation to put lights on 2 of the fields in McCall, and the excess money we have is gonna be used to put bleachers at Love Field. And that was a donation from the Love Foundation. The contractors have already given us a price on the lighting, and I guess soon as the weather breaks, they will be doing that. But Mr. Clyburn, with the Deafness family, we didn't get the presentation of the check, but it's in the bank, and we're very appreciative of Alan Love and the Love Foundation. That's a lot of money that's gonna light 2 fields in McCall and buy bleachers that the county does not have to buy.
So, again, huge thanks to the Love Foundation. That money is going to be used where they intended it, at CW Love Park. It will do the lighting and the bleachers. And why that's so important is because that lighting there is really going to help us when it comes to what we talked about from day one since I've been here, community league sports. We have another field that we can actually play on in the wintertime when it gets, you know, dark a little early. And that's very helpful for us to have that there. And we will be utilizing that to play the baseball, the softball, and the football. So we really appreciate the Love Foundation. And it's going to be utilized exactly how they intended.
Okay, and thank you. Now on a sort of a sad issue for the town of McCall. As many of y'all aware, Chief English resigned last night. So McCall is without a police chief or a police department, if you want to look at that again. It was 208 days from the time those other officers, I think 5 police officers and the chief resigned about 3 years ago. It was 208 days before there was any movement to get anybody over there. But anyway, I feel very sorry for Charles English and the English family. Charles had been out of law enforcement for almost 20 years. He went back, studied for several months. He was hired, I think, in March. He studied and accepted the challenge test with SLED. He took it, I think, sometime latter part of May. So he had been full-time as the chief certified since June. But anyway, last night it sort of caught me off guard. I knew he was having trouble. Hadn't had a policeman come sign up to join the police department. But the feedback I got last night, and this is what really perturbs me, the feedback I got last night from the council, 3 of them, from the mayor, and also from Charles English, is that he did not get the support from the Marlboro County Sheriff's Department that he felt like he should have. He was working day shift every day, 5 days a week, coming out on the weekend some, and it got into the point that he was having to come out at night. They were actually calling him to come out at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning for loud music and stuff. Well, anybody that's ever worked at all, you know you can't work 24 hours a day. The people in McCall pay a tremendous amount of tax money to the county, like everybody in the county does. And I expect to see, now since we don't have anybody, I expect the Sheriff's Department is gonna have to cover the town of McCall because they dang sure well pay for it, you know. But it's very disturbing that he was not getting support, and I know because I was out on a call with him one day. He had a wreck call, and then the girl called him and told him he had 2 more calls back to back. And he said, well, how about call the Sheriff's Department? And I'm speaking with the truth tonight. Now, he said, Bert, I'm gonna have to cover those when we get through. I said, can't the county cover some of them? And Anyway, I was told that the dispatcher, when I called her, I said, can't the county cover them? So they had been told that they were not covering the town of McCall, the county. Now, whether that's true or not, that was exactly what the dispatcher told me. But the tax money that the people of McCall they pay county taxes and stuff, and I fully expect the people of McCall to be protected by the Marlboro County Sheriff's Department, and that's all I'm gonna say on it.
I just want to give my condolences to you and your mother. I'm sorry to hear about that, you know.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
As well, like to give my condolences to your family as well.
Thank you.
And just looking forward, this is my second year, looking forward to just really hitting the ground running and hopefully praying that things will happen and we can see some changes in the county. Right now, you know, there's a lot of people hurting, bills, light bills, and I hope that the county and the city could come together and work together to see what can we do to relieve some of this, you know, excess bills. And I pray that everyone would pray that we can get some businesses here to help alleviate some of the pressure on people and everything. And as the word of God says, a house divided against itself cannot stand. We're city and we're county, but yet we're one. So hopefully we can really work together to let the community know that we have their best interests at heart.
I just want to say, I agree 100% with that. And that's why, you know, we have been working with the city. And when it comes to getting businesses here and then right outside the city as well, we've been really, but it's just, you know, other factors just make it difficult sometimes to bring things in places that have lost businesses for so long. You know, for everyone in here knows that there were a lot more businesses here, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago. Yeah. We know that. And the loss of business isn't something that's new. And it's going to take time to really put Marlboro County back to where some of these retailers, some of these different entities know that we are in business and we want new businesses to come back. And it just takes time to really get that message across. You can say it, but you have to prove it. And so we're working with the city of Bennettsville to get this area, also the town of McCall, and with the town of Clio and Blenheim, to make sure that we can get some business to at least consider coming here and just start the ball rolling a little bit. So I agree with that, and I do have to give credit to the city. They have been really working with us to try to make sure that we get businesses coming here as well.
All right, my condolences to
Thank
you
you,
and your
sir.
family. Like I said, have not been through. Hopefully we can get that fixed for the next year. We've been battling for about 6 months. And so, but I'll just turn it off. But hopefully, we've had a lot of going on. I think it'd probably be good if you and the mayor, and I hear Mr. Odom's remarks, I know it was a long time last time to provide coverage. If y'all could get together, I know it cost. And, you know, even though there's a tax dollar, there's still a city, I think, that we're talking about covering. So if you could get with that way, if there's a problem, if we can look at it up front, then we can prevent have a solution instead of having a problem. So, you know, it may be a long time before they get together, hopefully not, but at least if you could meet with them, at least you could get, I think that will help to find out what's moving forward. So make sure there's coverage. I think Sheriff McNeil would go out. I think we need some actual, I think one time we had a contract or an agreement in place.
I think we had one with Clio when they didn't have anyone,
So
and you're right.
Go ahead and get it up front, get it taken care of, and that way we can keep moving forward. And so, and the other thing, I know you've seen on the news that, you know, through the snowstorm and through the cold weather, Wallace Water Company, there was over 100 busted pipes and meters. And so you think a 3/4 inch valve times 100, it drained their system, and you know and the pumps couldn't keep up. And so, you know, it took quite a few days to be able to get it caught up and be able to turn back on and turn meters off. So they called in contractors. They thought they had a major leak. It was not. It was all residential problems. And so it was all from lack of checking or either abandoned homes that still had meters on them. It overwhelmed their system. And so they worked tirelessly through the night. Mr. Woods called and, they were out checking meters out, and it was about 7 o'clock one night. So, there's a lot of people involved. But I do want to thank the city of Bennettsville. City of Bennettsville was able, after they got there, they had this, a major issue with water too. So once they were able to get it resolved, they were able to send water towards Wallace. And the Marlboro Water Company was able to send water to Wallace. So I want to thank both of them for what they did, and all the hard workers that was out through the frigid temperatures day and night trying to resolve the issue. A lot of times whenever there's a problem, those saying you don't miss the water till your well runs dry, and being out of water 4 or 5 days is tough. On the other hand, the weekend before that, every news channel across the nation told you prepare for 5 days, be without power for 5 days. So didn't have power, we had water, so we should have still had some. We have to prepare for some things, but nevertheless, that's just part of it. But they worked tirelessly, and so we just want to thank and commend them for helping us out.
The winter days, there was a cold time for Marlboro County. We was not used to it. It caught a lot of us off guard. The weatherman was right this time. But anyway, hopefully them cold snaps is behind us. I would like to thank my colleagues for allowing me to serve as chair for the last 2 years. I hope I serve everybody well. I try to be open-minded and honest with everybody during my time as chair. Congratulations you, Dr. Johnson. You got 3 past chairmen, so you got a lot of people you can call on if you get stuck or need some advice or so forth. Tony McNeil, thank you for all you doing. I know you got a lot of things you and I have talked, and you and Dr. Johnson will be doing a lot more talking now as he's the chair, that he got a lot of things going on. And of course, as economic development, some of the things will be close to the vest. I had the privilege to meet the gentleman that owned Dunkin' Donuts. And he enlightened me on something that would totally blew my mind, that they will come here first before they go to Dillon. But things did not pan out accordingly. And his brother owned the Popeyes restaurant. And that didn't happen. When the saying, loose lips, sink ships, is a real thing. Because the word got out. I'm in my house in Clio, and somebody from Columbia called me and said, I heard y'all getting Popeyes. I said, really? I said, I hope we do. And when people start talking, guess what? They didn't show. They went to Dillon. So a lot of things that we ever say, well, we need to know what economic development doing. No, we don't. What we need to know, we want to be at the door knocking in, not speculating. And I know it's a touch off you to keep that close to the vest, but certain things that we at the public cannot share, don't need to know, because once we start knowing, we tell others, then that company gonna change their mind. Then we got egg on our face. And I met this young man, and I didn't know who he was, but he, after we started talking and everything, he told me this, So some things that the public think that we're not doing a lot, but we are. It's certain things that we cannot say until the 11th hour. Anyway, Tony, you and I talked during your tough time, and my heart goes out to y'all. And so many other people have lost a loved one and got a loved one in tough situations. Anyway, but this, as we come forward into the budget year and everything else, we cannot, everything we do in the budget is projected. We are projected, we do what we plan on doing. We do what we plan on spending. But any budget, even your house budget, things comes up. Things that you don't expect it. That's why we run short. That's why everything is an estimated guess at the best of our ability to put X amount of dollars in this account, X amount of dollars in that account. But something comes out the blue. Even in your own home, we're gonna do, I got this amount of money done. Then you got a water pipe busted. Now, oh my goodness, I got to pay $500 for a water pump, hot water heater. You weren't counting on that. Now everything is out of balance. So I know when we start doing this budget thing, we need to look at unexpectables, as we could say, because everything gonna go up and down. Some line item gonna be more and be in the red. Some line item gonna be in the black. You know, so but that's the hard job. Your finance people, you know, y'all. I know it's a hard thing to even guesstimate. You know, you gotta go by on past experiences. Anyway, I thank y'all, and like I say, Doc, if you need me for anything, that I may know that you need some input, holler at the board.
Mr. Chairman, I do want to say it's been great.
Chairman.
I'm sorry, Mr. Former Chairman.
You call me chairman. Now you know.
But I think you deserve a round of applause for the work you did the past 2 years. You did a great job, and you were always, you know, trying to be fair. And that's the one thing that we know about you. You're always trying to be fair. So we thank you for your service for the past 2 years as chairman.
Appreciate it.
Again, my condolence, but first I do want to thank this whole board for the fact that tonight we proved that we can be unified, that we weren't selfish, like the parable of the men with the long-handled spoon. They sat there with that pot of stew. They had long spoons that couldn't even feed each other because selfishness. But tonight we reached across the aisle with each other and decided that we can do what we can needed to move this county forward. So I'm very thankful for that. And with that, I would like to commend and thank you, Dr. Johnson, for serving as the chair. And I know that you will be looking at opportunities, that we will have conversations, open conversation with each other, that we will be working closely with the Association of Counties to get more training, possibly whatever you put on the table. I think we can talk, because we do need to have additional training if possible. But number one is a retreat for each other, so we will know where we're headed, and set goals, because we do not have any goals set, but I would like to see us setting goals. With the cleanup, District 4, I would like to say thank you again. I will be pushing that information out with some flyers for District 4. I've already have some people committed from the Sheriff Department, Ordinance Office, and some other elected officials, but I also have some community organizations and some school organizations interested in participating in the cleanup. And whatever part of the county we get, whatever the eyesores are, we need to focus on cleaning it up. I also look forward to February the 19th. Mr. Chair, you and I have the opportunity as Chair and Vice Chair to attend that meeting to improve our skills and knowledge of this council. So I'm looking forward to that meeting in Columbia. I do want to notice that if everybody, and Mr. Odie, you brought it up last week, but the month before I brought it up, STDOT is doing a lot of what we call preparation work in this county, but I do appreciate what they're doing in District 4. They are really preparing for roads to be paved in District 4. Some of our roads in District 4 are 50 years old. So for what you're doing for the south end of Bennettsville and the Marshall Street, some of the State Street area, I'm very much thankful for that. I like to see more lighting in our area. Those areas do not have lighting. So I know that we have a grand opportunity for those 300 and some odd names I turn in about lighting and sidewalk. Those are the things next that I would like to see in this community, all areas. But also, I hope we can look at these what we call abated houses that we can clean up and get everybody to clean up around there. I want to make an announcement about an informational session that is free to this community for anyone who's interested in having their knowledge of how to keep your property out of probate. That session will be held at the Marlboro, the Marion Wright Elderman Library on February the 27th from 1 to 2:30 p.m. Also, for those of us who are wearing our red today, and I really, this is a dear one to my heart, because this is Heart Health Month. If you've ever had a loved one that died of heart disease, this is the month that you honor them. But you make sure you take care of yourself, especially us women. Avoid stress, something I ask God I need to do. But we keep ourselves healthy, eat right, and get plenty of rest, and get a physical health. So also, I want to also thank the fact that this is the celebration of Black History Month, and I want to thank all the contributions that Black Americans made to this country. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman. One other thank you I'd like to give out. We hadn't had a meeting since then, but thank Mr. Clyburn, Chad, Charles English, and William Simon for the warming center that we set up at the end of January. That thing worked out pretty good, came together. Contacted some people in Columbia, and we had 65 wool blankets donated from a church in Florida. Charles Lemon went to Columbia, and they were supposed to be there at 4:30. And they got there like at 6:30 or 7:30. We wound up spending about all day in Columbia waiting on them. But that was a really nice thing. They sent 900 blankets to South Carolina, and I just told them we wanted whatever we could. So she said, I'll start you out at 50. Well, they wound up, said, well, somebody canceled 15 of y'all want them. I said, we'll take them. So the idea behind the community center, working with Mr. Clyburn and Mr. William Simon, is we're going to develop that thing into a disaster center. He's got a storage building that they're going to move up there, and we're going to begin to take donations and stuff so that if we have and God forbid we have any kind of disaster or any more snow or ice, I can tell you what a 5-foot fall, my whole arm was black from ice fall about no higher than this table. But anyway, that is the plan to make that community center a disaster center for the whole county, not just the city and the county. But we're going to work together, talking about spirit of cooperation. We've got a great relationship with William Simon and Mr. Clyburn, and then all the city and the county employees that have contributed to help us in these times of need. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Thank you to my fellow council members for voting me for chairman. I don't take this opportunity lightly to continue to serve in this capacity and look for the healthy future of Marlboro County. We have to realize that we can't do this individually. This is a collective effort. All of us have ideas. All of us have expertise. We want to utilize those ideas and expertise to be able to move this county forward. There's a lot of ideas that I have. I'm looking forward to talking with each and every one of you about the ideas that you all would need to see from our governing body as a council. This county is as strong as the council. And the stronger we are, the more knowledge that we have, the more information that we have, we can better help serve the administrator. We can better help serve our constituents. And so that's one thing that I'm looking forward to is learning additional information that we can bring back to our county, that we can begin to put in operation so we can improve our process and procedures as a council. There's still a lot of gaps, and those little gaps might not be visible to the naked eye, but those few gaps that we see, if we continue to leave them open, then when budget time comes, when other opportunities come, we're not as cognizant of what we need to know in order to help with that process. So I'm looking forward to, the Association of Counties and their technical expertise in coming down and not, educating us on how to run Marlboro County, but giving us additional information that can anchor what we know as council members that we can begin to utilize to help move Marlboro County forward. Again, Mr. Clyburn, prayers and condolences to you and your family, your father and your sister, and those who loved your mother. I don't know how it feels to lose a mother, but I know how it feels to lose a loved one. And so my prayers and thoughts are continuing with you and your family and all those who might be experiencing health issues of a family member, bereavement, whatever it is. Just know that better days are coming. I pray better days for Marlboro County. We just went through a tough 2 weeks here in Marlboro County, and was very pleased with the collaboration and the cooperation of officials throughout this county to ensure that those who needed to be warm had an opportunity to be warm. There were some people who donated food and clothing and so many different type things that you would never see because there's no lights, camera, and action. But we have some great citizens here in Marlboro County who always take an opportunity to step up and look out for their fellow citizen, and that's what this county is all about. Yeah, we all have differences. Yeah, we all have ideas and opinions and everything, but I think every council member up here want the best for Marlboro County. And if we can collaborate around that idea of wanting the best for Marlboro County, we can be the vehicle that helps drive that change. Staff is doing what they can. Staff is doing a lot of work behind the scenes, but as a council, there are some things that we need to improve upon to be able to facilitate and help move the direction of our county. We have a lot of irons in the fire, but I'm needing them irons burning. We hitting a lot of foul balls, but we need to start putting the ball into play, and so we can begin to see the visible results of the great work that we're putting behind the scenes. So my prayer is that everyone will stay safe, everyone will stay connected, and we continue to do what is best for our citizens here in Marlboro County, because we know we can get better, we know we can do better. It's all about us collaborating and putting forth our effort to ensure that Marlboro County is in a better position in another year than it was in the previous year. We now have a lot of things that are coming down the plate. We have the budget just about to start anchoring up. We need to be very, very diligent in how we engage this year's budget. Make sure that we're educated, make sure that we read those packets, making sure that we have, our own questions about different type things so we can have an informative discussion on that budget. So when we do vote on a stated budget and we see that final number, we'll be confident that we've done our very, very best to be good stewards of the finances to ensure that we're not raising taxes on our citizens because we fail to do our job as stewards, financial stewards. With that being said, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion. Second.
It's been moved and properly second. All in favor, let it be known by raising your right hand. Meeting adjourned.